Driving Miss Hazy? Oh my god, this episode from the Loud House sucks. Here are the reasons why this episode sucks in my opinion. The episode starts since Lori is the only one of the Loud children to have a driver's license. She's the only one, aside from their parents, who can drive her siblings to wherever they want to go, provided they do her chores and other favors for her in return. Lincoln's tired of doing Lori favors just to get her to give him a ride, and is surprised that Leanie has to do it as well, especially considering that she's legally old enough to drive. Leanie explains to her brother that she doesn't have an official driver's license yet and that she's failed the road test 12 times before, and nobody's willing to teach her how to drive anymore. Seeing an opportunity, Lincoln decides to help Leanie get ready for her next road test, figuring that if Leanie had her license, she wouldn't force him and the rest of their sisters to do favors for her in exchange for rides like Lori does. Lincoln tries to train Leanie with a video game that utilizes a wireless wheel controller. Leanie keeps losing at first, but Lincoln gives her motivation by saying that they're going to the mall. This helps Leanie win the game, and she feels confident to take her test again, but she is brought home by the police for driving recklessly like in the game. On Lincoln's next attempt, the rest of the sisters, minus Lori, decide to join in and help their brother get Leanie ready for her road test. As it turns out, Leanie and Lincoln's 8 other sisters are just as tired of doing stuff for Lori in exchange for rides as Lincoln is. Lincoln and the sisters fashion a makeshift car to help Leanie learn good driving habits, but Leanie doesn't understand the technical names for things, like the wheel and turn signal, calling them the spinny thingy and blinky blink, respectively. Lincoln realizes that he has to talk down to her level to get her to understand. By using simple terms and fashion lingo, Leanie's able to drive the fake car, and then the lawnmower flawlessly, and again feels ready to ace her next road test. But Lori, not wanting her siblings to weasel out of doing stuff for her, wants to make sure that Leanie fails her test. Later that night, Lori slips on a pair of headphones onto Leanie's ears and plays a tape that teaches bad driving habits. The next day, after Leanie leaves to take her test, Lincoln refuses to do any more of Lori's laundry for a ride since Leanie will give him, and the rest of their sisters, rides without forcing them to do favors for her, but Lori reiterates by saying that Leanie won't pass because she assured it, accidentally revealing her treachery. When a suspicious Lincoln threatens to shrink her favorite Bobby sweater, Lori confesses to her sabotage. Ultimately, she claims that she did it because she's worried that Lincoln and the rest of their sisters won't need her for anything if Leanie ends up getting her driver's license. Lincoln calls Lori out on her selfishness, pointing out that because of what she did, Leanie could get herself and others seriously hurt, or possibly worse, even killed. Realizing the severity of what she did, Lori, now greatly worried about Leanie's safety, drives herself and Lincoln to the local DMV to help Leanie. After arriving there, Leanie comes out of the building. As it turns out, Leanie's perfectly fine, but she did fail her driver's test again, this time due to the bad instructions from Lori. After some insistence from Lincoln, Lori confesses to Leanie about what she did, and to make it up to her, she agrees to help Leanie train for her next test, which proves to be far easier said than done. And that's how the episode goes. If you haven't seen it, don't watch it. It's a waste of time. I dunno who likes or hates this episode, so I'm gonna leave it be. So screw driving Miss Hazy, and screw Space Invader. Schooled is 6,789,000 times better than driving Miss Hazy. End of rant.